Hello and welcome to the Daily Craig Sports Show. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. We are live on YouTube and also recording for a podcast that we will release as well. But what we're going to do here every day is we're going to talk sports. Appropriately named, creative, I know that. We're going to talk about all kinds of different sports. We're going to talk NFL, baseball when it happens, NBA here and there, college football, college basketball, all the fun stuff. We're going to do racing since we're here in Indianapolis. So we are going to talk some sports. So thank you so much for being here and watching and listening. First thing we're going to get to today is, since we're in Indianapolis, this has been the biggest thing here on the airwaves in Indianapolis is Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz. So the problem is, number one, he's due a lot of money. Not crazy amount, but a lot. Enough. The problem is, who do you get to replace him? Who do you get there? I mean, that's the that's the problem. So you also have a problem that you don't have a first round draft pick. So you don't have that super needy, super just positive poker chip in your pocket that so many people have and so many people are looking for. So you have to be very, very creative, very, very smart with what you're doing. And really, what's the possibility of you getting somebody better than Carson Wentz? He's serviceable. He's fine. He should be better than what he is. His decision making is not great. It's one of those things where will he win the games for you or will he lose the games for you? And what the Colts saw was a little bit of both, right? There were drives where you're like, oh my gosh, this was amazing. And then there were games, the last two, that you just said, oh my gosh, what are we doing here? So, it's one of those where I don't know. I don't know. I'm torn back and forth. They don't have any options. So is a good option Jimmy Garoppolo over in San Francisco. You know they want to get rid of him. You know that they don't want him anymore, and he's going to be moving on. They've got Trey Lance. You almost have to think about being in that second tier, right? You not going to get Aaron Rodgers, probably. He's either going to retire or play for the Packers, it sounds like. Russell Wilson, possible, but again, what are you trading? The fact that you don't have a first-round draft pick is really, really big. That's really, really big right now. Deshaun Watson, they're not going to trade within the division. They're just not going to. Who else? Kyler Murray, that's probably a little bit of a stretch, right? I mean, it would be great if they get Kyler Murray, but are they really going to? I mean, he's may not be moving on. He may be. We'll see. So, I don't know. There's just not a ton of options out there. So, do you stay with Carson Wentz? Oh, sorry. Two options that I really was going for was Derek Carr over in Vegas. They look like they're going to keep him. He's going to get like a $40 million extension, which is a ton of money for somebody like him. Or the other one that I was wanting was Matt Ryan down in Atlanta. Again, super huge contract, a ton of money. Will he get you where you need to be? Maybe, maybe not. But he at least is different than what you got right now. With Carson Wentz, he's fine. Now, I heard somebody was actually Jake Query here locally in Indianapolis, had a great point. He thinks Jim Irsay, the owner of the Colts, is huge on your commitment and the family and the love for each other and the trust, things like that. So he, and I believe Jake on this, he thinks that you don't have to get into the vaccine or anything like that. You don't have to get into what was going on or anything. Carson Wentz let the Colts and Jim Irsay down. He got COVID. Now, everybody, you can get COVID if you are vaccinated or unvaccinated or anything like that. He was very, very public with his stance. He did all of his research, and that's his right. He did what he needed to do. But when the Colts needed him, those last 2 games, he was not 100% and did not do what he needed to do to get the win. So, is Irsay hurt by that? Is he mad at that? Is he frustrated at that? Probably. So, I don't know. What do we think will happen? Well, I ultimately think they're going to get rid of Carson Wentz. I think we've already made up their mind. I think they're going to cut their losses. I think they're going to release him. I don't even think they're going to trade him. I don't think anybody's going to pick him up at that contract right now. So I think he's gone. I think also they are going to get Jimmy Garoppolo from the 49ers. I think the same thing's going to happen. They're going to try to trade for him. They're going to try to just pick him up, try to sign him, do something where he is going to be the quarterback moving forward. Now, the question is that a stopgap where you get a young quarterback in, a high draft pick, and let him get better over a couple years? That's going to happen to Jimmy G, 2 or 3 times now, if that's the case. Or do you basically say, this is our guy for the next 4 or 5 years? That's going to be an interesting thing. I love Kyle Trask that's down in Tampa. He played at Florida, University of Florida. I thought he was really, really good. I really liked him, but I think I'm the only one that is like that. So we'll see what happens. I have a feeling they're going to let Wentz go. It would be awesome if they could trade for him and somehow get that first-round draft pick back. Awesome if they could trade for him and get something that can just help the team in the future. But right now it just looks like they're kind of stuck. They're kind of stuck with who they are. So we'll see what happens. I do think that there will be a change. I just don't think, and when I say they're stuck, I think they're stuck with the draft picks that they're going to get, and I think they're stuck with where they're going to be out there. The other question is, do you try to trade Quentin Nelson, one of the guards, for other things? That's a rumor out there. I think they like him too much. I don't think they're going to. So enough just about the Colts. And being an Indy here, that's what we focus on a lot, is our Colts. We love them. Those last 2 games are awful. Personally, I think Carson Wentz can throw it. I think he can throw it perfect where he needs it to go. But the problem is he can't check down to the tight ends, can't hit his receiver or running backs. He always checks into just terrible calls, and he's not the guy. So we'll see what happens as they move forward. The Packers, there's their nose tackle, Kenny Clark. They created $10 million in space by reworking his contract. This is the day after Aaron Rodgers basically took the internet by storm for about 3 hours, him and Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is hilarious. He's awesome. He's actually on from 12 to 3, so once you get done watching us, go over to his YouTube channel. It's the Pat McAfee Show. He is hilarious, and he has Aaron Rodgers on every Tuesday. They had a great conversation just kind of wrapping up the season. Everybody expected Aaron Rodgers to do some sort of, hey, here's my stance on things and here's what I'm doing. It's one of those where he'll make his decision. I think he'll make it on Pat's show. I really do. He's already said that he would. So I think that decision will be made there. I think it will be very, very interesting to see. It really sounds like it's either retirement or running it back another year for the Packers. That's really what he's looking to do. I don't think he's in the mood to pick up and go somewhere else. He would look really good in Colts blue. He would. But Denver's trying to do everything they can to try to get him. There's a lot of quarterback issues out there with teams that are trying to fix it. And that's a great segue, staying in the NFL. Who's looking for quarterbacks? Is Seattle, are they done with Russ? Probably. Denver, definitely. The Colts, probably. Pittsburgh, yes. They've said Mason Rudolph is going to be their guy, but do you trust him? He just hasn't played a ton. Who else? The Lions, do they want Jared Goff back? I guess. I mean, they're going to have to keep him, but they would probably like to move on. Do the Falcons really want that huge contract with Ryan? What does Tampa do? I know they think Brady might come back, but you can't count on that. And it kind of sounds like Brady's done. Houston, they're going to move on from Deshaun Watson. What are they going to move to? Does Tennessee still love Ryan Tannehill? Minnesota claims that they love Kirk Cousins and their ginormous contract, but we know that Carolina's kind of starting to question that and see if they can get him down to Carolina. So there's a ton of different options out there. One thing that has not been brought up that I ask is, should Jordan Love from Green Bay request a trade? There are so many teams out there looking for quarterbacks. If Rodgers comes back, he's going to have to sit on the bench again another year. And we don't know what he's going to be when he, grows up or gets the reins. But it'd be real interesting if he goes into Green Bay and says, me or him, and makes the front office pick Rodgers, which they should, and then see if he can go somewhere and get a clean start. Would Denver take him? Would Pittsburgh take him and just say, here's our young guy for the next 10 years, hopefully? So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Odell Beckham Jr., with his knee injury and his Super Bowl ring, has a little baby. Is this a boy or girl? Little girl, it looks like. So, good for him. Odell has a baby. Anthony Hitchens, a linebacker for the Chiefs, was released. He's making a lot of money. He came over from Dallas a few years ago. Gets a ton of tackles in the middle of that defense. I'm sure you remember seeing him through the playoffs. He was always where the ball was, it felt like. So he's going to be a hot commodity. There's just a ton of things going on out there in the world of sports around football, trying to figure out who is going to be the quarterback of the Packers, who's going to be the quarterback of the Steelers. There's a lot of those kind of rumors and a lot of fire out there with that stuff. In college basketball, here locally, the Purdue Boilermakers are loaded and they're rolling. They are in a mess to try to win the Big Ten championship, and that's well and good. But their goal is Final Four. They have to get to a Final Four with this squad. They're loaded. Ivy should be top 2 or 3 player of the year. Matt Painter's got the experience. They are ready to roll and make a run through. Now, to talk about Purdue, my family went to Purdue. I grew up in Purdue, but I went to IU. So, I was at IU, and I graduated in 2003. So I was there during the end of the Bobby Knight era and a Final Four run and just some things like that. So it was interesting, awesome, terrible, all in the few years that we were there. IU is 16-10. They play Maryland, and then they play Minnesota, Rutgers, and Purdue. 16-10. Joe Lunardi says if they win 3 more games with that schedule and in the Big Ten tournament, they should be in the Big Dance. I don't know where you're going to get 3 wins from. They've lost 5 in a row after beating Maryland and Penn State. They had a huge win against Purdue, and then all of a sudden the wheels have fallen off. Excuse me. The question is IU turned into like Nebraska and some of those programs on the football side that used to be powerhouses that everybody wanted to go to. Everybody dreamed of playing with that logo on their chest, and Indiana crossed it. But is IU just turned into another school? Have they turned into just another basketball program? And, honestly, the answer is yes. They really have. Because it is, they just haven't done much. They're going to have the 6th year in a row if they're not going to be over 500 in the Big Ten. That's insane. That is insane that that's happened. They are much better than what they should be. They're much better than who they are. And honestly, Mike Woodson is great, and he's got them going in the right direction. But the other night, they played against Ohio State. They had the game won, and they made two bonehead plays, and they just, coming out of timeouts, they have no idea what they're doing. They're running around. Our oldest son is in 7th grade. We've gone to watch a couple 7th grade games. It looked like that. You would never expect IU to look like a 7th grade rec basketball team, and that's what they look like. Sometimes they look really good. Other times they have no idea what plays are being ran or anything like that. So IU needs a win badly. They're home to Maryland and then at Minnesota versus Rutgers and then Purdue. Are they going to get 3 or 4? No. They could get 2 out of 4 probably. That Rutgers and Purdue are going to be tough. I mean, at Minnesota stinks, but they'll still be a really tough game. So that's what's going on in the world of basketball. You can see behind me, North Carolina fan. We'll get on them when they get back after it, but they are primed to hopefully make a little run through the ACC and hopefully get to the tournament. But we'll see what happens. Racing news: IndyCar Series is down at St. Pete this weekend, kicking it off. A lot going on, and we'll talk about that as we move forward a little bit closer. Well, we got 2 more days of the week, I guess. So we'll talk about racing maybe more tomorrow and more on Friday. But a big announcement today: Julia Steinbrenner is taking co-ownership of Steinbrenner Racing. She is stepping into a leadership role which partners with Andretti Autosport, and they field the number 29 Honda driven by Canadian rookie Devlin DelFrancesco. She is the co-ownership position with her brother, George Michael Steinbrenner IV. Steinbrenner is now turning his attention to fulfilling a new and unspecified role with the Yankees that they own, obviously. Julia will move into the opposite direction and run the Steinbrenner racing program here. She said she's learned a lot from her brother. She's really excited about the future. There's a lot of good things. And what I wanted to point in, there are thousands of women like me that grow up loving this sport, and very exciting to see more and more of us get involved across all aspects. This is fantastic. Racing has historically been the good old boys, and it's been the men's club and whatever, Luckily, we had Janet Guthrie and Lynn St. James and Danica and, all the female race car drivers. But now to see some female drivers people in like leadership roles come in, it's fantastic. It really is. Beth Peretta with the team that she put together last year for the 500. It's just continuing to build and grow on that. So this is awesome. IndyCar is my favorite form of racing. Being from Indianapolis, the 500 is the month of May. It's awesome. You circle your calendar, obviously. They released a commercial a couple of days ago of, some retro clips of back home again in Indiana. It was awesome. You get goosebumps immediately. But I think IndyCar has always been the front of technology and issues and things like that. So this is just another example that IndyCar, I think, is doing it right. So they race at St. Pete this weekend. It'll be fun to watch. There's all kinds of different things going on in the world of sports. New York is thinking about ending the mask mandate, so that means Kyrie will probably be able to play soon on his home court, which is fantastic, which is great. The NBA, you don't really personally. The NBA doesn't get interesting until Christmas time, and then you pay attention in a while. Here in Indianapolis, our Pacers stink, so they got rid of a bunch of people, thankfully, and also they rebuilding, not going to make the playoffs, so not really in tune with it, but we'll check it out as we're getting closer to the end of the year. It'll be some fun. Okay, so before we wrap it up today, I want to try to do this every single day. I want to try to reach out to a minor league baseball team. MLB, Major League Baseball, and the Major League Baseball Players Association are miles apart. They're trying to get together. They're trying to work out a deal. They're trying to get baseball going again to get spring training started. It's going to be a while, and that's fine. Excuse me. There are big issues that need fixed. There are. But it's frustrating to try to think about it in a logical way because the things they're arguing about, to me, locally, okay, whatever, fix it, But to them, this is a huge deal and they need to work it out to get basically back on the field. So with that, I love baseball. I'm a baseball coach of a 13-year-old travel team. I love it. I try to watch as much as I can. Excuse me. I love the minor league baseball aspect because they do so many cool, clever things. The logos are fun. The team names are fun. Their promotions are hilarious. They try everything they can to grab your attention. And with that, the social media group that runs each minor league team does the same thing. Today, I want to focus on Cleburne Railroaders. CRR Baseball is their Twitter handle. Go follow them. They're hilarious. They're fantastic. They're great. They're trying to get verified, so we all have to go like them and make sure that we're pushing that to Twitter to get them verified. They are based in Cleburne, Texas. They're an independent league team. They've got a cool little logo with Texas with a kind of a railroad track going around the outside. They've got great merch. They've got great social media folks that are managing their account. They're very, very interesting. They're starting to announce their team, and they're doing so with those old school baseball card templates. So, again, Cleburne Railroaders are the minor league team of the day. CRR Baseball is their Twitter handle. Give them a follow. You will enjoy it. Their hashtag is all aboard. They love interacting with you. They love, basically not just interacting, but engaging with you. They always are asking, what are you up to this weekend? And they're responding to a lot of people. They're always out there just looking to engage with their fans and their followers. It's really, really fun. So make sure you give them a follow. If you're down in Texas, make plans to go and visit them. It's an independent team. They're going to get to spring training here soon, so they're going to get their season started. Remember, minor league baseball is not canceled. It is not delayed or anything. It's moving on. It's Major League Baseball and the 40-man rosters. Those are the folks that are locked out right now. So, just a little shout out there for that. But anyway, that's going to wrap it up today. We're going to go ahead and call today. Thank you so much for joining me. It is Wednesday, February 23rd. So we got some snow flurries happening outside here in Indianapolis, but spring is around the corner, and when spring gets here, hopefully we're going to be outside more. Love to get to some baseball games. I love to get down to the track for motor speedways. We get to the month of May, and just do more things like that as spring gets here. And we've put a wrap on the kind of the winter sports. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, this is the Daily Craig Sports Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you visit us at thedailycraig.net. We do have some merch. We got sweatshirts and t-shirts, so pick one up there. We've also got a few different blogs going with a few different topics, baseball and racing and some stuff like that. So make sure you go there, check it out, dailycraig.net. I thank you so much for being here, and we will talk to you tomorrow.